What's up, everybody? Good afternoon. I guess we got to talk about this one, huh? I guess I got to address this one. It's one of the hottest stories right now concerning the Seattle Seahawks. There's not a whole lot to talk about right now. The draft is over. Free agency is pretty much dried up. There's whatever you can cling on to in terms of subject matter. A lot of people are going to just start clinging. So you don't really get the big story drops right now. You don't get the big updates. You don't get the signings. You don't get the earth shattering revelations. No, you get things like Pete Carroll saying, I don't think we're going to trade for a quarterback, which I like it, but it's not exactly shocking to me. And it's indicative of something the team is not going to do rather than something they're going to do. You get things like the Seahawks are going to play the first ever game in NFL game in Germany against the Buccaneers, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's cool, and it's definitely big news over there. Only thing it really changes for me is I'm going to have to get up earlier, and, I mean, it'll be a fun little trivia question, I guess, but realistically, the only thing I really care about is not losing the home game, which we didn't. Other than that, it's just kind of a fun little distraction for me, but hey, there you go. Seahawks playing a game in Munich in 2022. And you also get things like this. So, yesterday, there was this report from PFT, and I saw it from a couple of other sources as well. This isn't really anything disputed. KJ Wright, this is straight from the horse's mouth. He is hoping to return to the Seahawks in the 2022 season. KJ Wright, of course, spent 10 years here, spent 1 year with the Raiders, actually made the playoffs, played okay, I guess, as near as I could tell. Didn't do a whole lot, made a couple of plays in the backfield, but overall was just kind of a quality stand-in, I guess you could call him. And now he wants to come back. So on his Half-Forgotten History show, Trey Wingo's Half-Forgotten History show, he said, I want to go home. I think it's that simple. Seattle knows that I want to come back. They know how much they mean to me. And he also indicated that he's going to retire if Seattle doesn't pick him up. So I think that when you take a look at something like that, it tells you that he's not really in it for the money. He's probably willing to come back for the veteran minimum, which is something like 1 point. What would it be for him? It would be less than $1.5 million. It would be some relatively insignificant amount of money. So the question then becomes, would you rather have KJ Wright than a Ben Burkervin type of player? So it's kind of an interesting proposition. Now, I can't speak for the team. In fact, I'm sure there are people within the team that expect things to go well this year, but I don't think this 2022 Seattle Seahawks team is going to have a lot of success. I don't think they're going to win a lot of games. I don't see the playoffs in their future, barring some incredibly good fortune and some players developing much faster than I would anticipate. So you're not bringing back KJ Wright to try to give yourself an extra little boost so you can make a Super Bowl run. It's not like when the Rams brought in Eric Weddle or something like that because they needed a fill-in for a, injured Taylor Rapp, I think it was. That's not what's going on here. You are basically bringing him back because it would be something that might sell a few tickets, and it would be kind of cool to see him back. It will allow him to end his career the way he spent almost all of it, and basically just allow him to continue his career, because he's indicated that for reasons that don't really have that much to do with his play, he doesn't want to be anywhere except Seattle. Maybe he didn't like the environment in Las Vegas. Maybe he, I don't know exactly what it is. I don't know exactly what the idea is there, but it's either this or the retirement home for KJ Wright, it sounds like. So here's the thing to understand here. The Seahawks are changing their defense. Whether we're changing it a little or a lot, it's hard to know yet, but there are lots of indications we're going to be running more man defense. We're going to be running more 3-4 concepts. We've heard a lot of talk of hybrid. To me, the drafting of Boye Mafe indicates that we are leaning towards a 3-4 style of defense on a majority of snaps. And where does that leave KJ Wright? Because At his age, especially, you're not going to see KJ Wright play outside linebacker in a 3-4. That's a terrible fit. It would be bad for everyone involved. He would wear down quicker. He wouldn't be able to add value to the team. It would be a mess. So the only place KJ Wright could really fit in would be as an inside linebacker. And that's where this thing becomes a little bit interesting. So one of our inside linebacker spots is being filled by Jordan Brooks, and he's fine. I don't know how fine. I don't know if it's above average starter. I don't know if it's Pro Bowler. I don't know if it's all pro, but whatever it is, that's cool. But then you have Cody Barton. If it's a 3-4, you've got Cody Barton. And we've seen a decent chunk of Cody Barton. I don't believe in him anymore. Some of you guys do, but I don't. BBK coming off a massive injury. And then you're down to guys like John Radigan coming off a major injury and Aaron Donkor and Lakiem Williams, I guess. So it's dry. So that's the area where KJ Wright could possibly fill in. He would have a very good chance to at least play significant snaps, if not start, as an inside linebacker alongside Jordan Brooks. But I don't know how well that works either. When you are playing interior linebacker in a 3-4 defense, typically what you have to be able to do as a player is shed blockers, because there are fewer defensive linemen in front of you. You are going to be confronted with offensive linemen more often, and if you are going to have success, you need to be able to shed them. And KJ Wright, at his advanced age, I don't know if we can feel comfortable with him doing that. When you think about KJ Wright when he was at his best, and this is years ago, by the way, he was providing value largely through his ability to sniff out screens and blow into the backfield unblocked and make plays. In a 3-4 defense, that's not going to happen as often. And also, because one of our inside linebackers is Jordan Brooks, you would want the other guy to be able to cover well. And KJ Wright has been a good cover linebacker in the past, but at this point, I don't see a whole lot from him that I like in that area. I remember there was a game last year for the Raiders where they had to throw KJ Wright out there in coverage because of linebacker injuries on that Las Vegas defense. And the Chargers, I think it was the Chargers in that game, attacked him constantly, and he could not keep up. It wasn't even fair. So I don't think KJ Wright's a solution there. And at the end of the day, bigger than any of this stuff, bigger than any of this, the nitty-gritty, KJ Wright, by his own admission, is approaching retirement very quickly. You bring him back for 2022, he's probably not playing in 2023. It's a one-year thing. Finish out his career here on the veteran minimum or slightly above it. Be a mentor for some of these young players. Try to, you could even argue more of a player coach than anything else. And then he's gone. And whatever playing time you gave to him in 2022, what did that really add to you? Assuming 2022 is going to be a rebuild year, which most of us expect it to be, and you could have used those snaps to develop a younger player or see what you had. See what Cody Barton can do with a full year's load. See if BBK can overcome his smaller size, which probably not, but I feel like that's a better use of time than bringing in a KJ Wright who already looked like a much lesser version of himself in 2021 and just let him play because it's cool. Because I don't see how it's really helping you in any way. He's not going to be there by the time you're good again in 2023, almost certainly. And those snaps, while I may not believe in Cody Barton, those snaps are going to have more value going to a guy like him to see what he can do. Honestly, and this is going to sound insensitive maybe, those snaps are probably better off going to a UDFA who we pick up, like the Avery Roberts guy from Oregon State, than they are going to a guy like a KJ Wright. And that sounds insensitive, maybe it is a little bit, but that's a guy who might be part of this team's long-term future. Slim chance, but it could happen. KJ Wright, I guess you're bringing him back for leadership and mentoring, but he already was here when Jordan Brooks was a rookie, and that's the main guy you would be looking at, right? Is KJ Wright going to mentor Boye Mafe? I mean, I guess he could, but they don't really play the same position. One guy's a linebacker, the other guy's an edge defender. So it's not the worst thing in the world if we do this. It'd be a cool way to send out KJ, a Seahawk who I and pretty much every other Seahawks fan loves because he always did it the right way, was a professional. He wasn't a perfect player. He was not even a great player outside of a couple of seasons, but he was always a good player, always did his job, always filled his role, and we were better off for him passing through our life as Seahawks fans. But on this instance, I just wonder, what is the value? Now, for the veteran minimum, if he wants to come in and basically be a player coach, play a little bit and just mostly worry about helping these young guys, then what's the harm? But I have a feeling he's coming back trying to take that starting job. So let me know what you guys think about this. I'm relatively indifferent, but being perfectly honest, there are some young guys on this team who could benefit from an extended look, and KJ Wright might not allow them that extended look because even at his advanced age, Pete Carroll might look at him and go, I can trust him more than I can trust these kids. All right, see you guys later. Go Hawks. Streaming on Twitch tonight. Hope to see you there.